we remember it how we remember it regardless of the situation. So I just want to put this out there because I'm really concerned about this, but it just seems like everybody that I talk to about it, they're not as concerned about it as I am. And to me, I don't know how you can change my history, my life, and not be concerned about it. And it's not as easy for me to just say, oh, okay, it's logos, it's this, they changed that. I told my barber, Tim, to go home, check his Bible. I had him say the Lord's Prayer with me as I walked through that door. And as he was saying it, I was also saying it with him. And he said it the correct way. All right? Nothing about dead tours and this and that. You know, some things are one... anyhow, I just told him, go home, check your Bible. He's adamant that JFK Kennedy was, the JFK assassination was his way, and that's cool. And I told him, I've already had my arguments. I've learned the hard way. I found out about this shit about a month and a half ago. Hell, my wife doesn't see anything the way I remember it, and that's pretty shitty. That's my spouse, and I can't even talk to her about it because she thinks I'm absolutely nuts. And the reality is I do think either one, that this is a gift from God, and you know, the first thing I wanted to do was round up everybody in my office, all 40 salespeople, and tell them, you know, if you want to stick around, I'm going to blow your minds. If you don't want to stick around, go to work, you know. But I'm glad I didn't, because what I'm finding out is most of the people out there remember the things they are today, with us being a minority. It's very hard. I have one friend that shows some concern. How much I don't know, because I'm not with him all the time, but he's with me. He's a brother. Where others, they just go to disregard the situation and move on with life. Who cares? I don't know. It's just fucked up. But when you try to tell somebody something and try to awaken them, and they just want to disregard, like I'm a crazy asshole, I don't know what to do.
CERN, located in 30,000 different locations all over the planet, most likely more. What they're doing is playing with matter. They're messing with particle collisions. So they're continuously trying to create this Big Bang thing. They know exactly what they're doing with devilish precision. The little 666 fucking symbol, their logo. So basically, these motherfuckers are trying to create dark matter. They're trying to bring in the underworld to this realm. Holy fuck. I guess that most likely explains the Mandela effect happening. She explained that when particles collide, they create quantum entanglement, which caused the Mandela effect to happen. So basically, the ones playing with matter are playing with matter like on a huge scale. They don't realize that they're actually manipulating matter all over the place. Yeah, that's what we have, like new species that we've never heard of, new fruits, new plants. Our anatomy is changing. Our memories are like off because basically matter's being fucked with. Because if there were time travelers going back in the past to manipulate the future, we wouldn't notice it. It would just go along, wouldn't it? I mean, I do believe that time travel does exist, just way underground, where we can't see. I don't care how many people think I'm crazy. I don't really give a shit. But really, the CERN agenda or whatever they're doing to this universe really explains it the most. that's basically what I've been going through for about 3 to 4 days or something. 2 or 3 days, I've been like focused on this kind of shit. Yeah. The reality of reality is going to trip me out to the point that I'm going to be stunned and I've been like a frozen computer, basically, like with my mouth open and freaking eyes open, like processing too much information at once. Let me know what you guys think about this Mandela effect, because I really want to hear some other people's like perspectives on this, because I'm not sure how to feel about it. Either our memories are just fucked. No, it's too much. There's actual proof. Like, either it's time travel fuckery, or it is CERN. Fucking, I think it really has to be CERN. I don't see any other real explanation for it. Really, I don't see any other explanation for it. So that's it. Please, like, tell me what you think, because I'm really, like, my mind is, like, boggled for good. Like, I've seen shit, but this, everyone's seeing it. And there's proof, there's evidence, so it's like, and it's fucking with our anatomy, like, the Mandela effect is warping us.
Yeah, pretty freaky. Well, that's what I thought. So, there's something to that. Basically what it is that there are a large, significant group of people who believe something a certain way, and but unfortunately that thing doesn't exist, and it never did exist that way. And so all these people's memories seem to be wrong, and that's the Mandela effect. Well, when I first saw that, I thought, that's kind of weird. I didn't really get into it. So I really didn't pay much attention to it. But again, they kept popping up, and so I decided to take a look at a couple of them. And lo and behold, wow, it opened up, a rabbit hole. And I'll tell you something about myself, is that I am not one of those guys that is convinced easily. I'm open to anything that you have to say, but I investigate everything. And so if you bring me something that's new or different, I'll listen. But you have to prove it. You have to prove your position. You have to prove where, whatever it is that you're stating. It's extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. And so and that's what I look for, is extraordinary evidence. But this stuff started piling up. And I'll tell you, I started noticing things in my own life. And there were a lot of things. But long story short, the one that really seemed to get me, even though there were a lot of them that maybe were a lot bigger than this, but the one that seemed to really get me was the Monopoly Man. Yeah. And I'm watching one of these videos, and he talks about the Monopoly Man no longer has the monocle. What do you mean he no longer has the monocle? Are you crazy? That's one of the key features of the Monopoly Man, is that he has the monocle. He always has had the monocle. So I started doing some research, and lo and behold, he never had it. I even called up some people who had the game back from the 70s. They have a 1977, I think, edition of the game. Pulled it out, and lo and behold, no monocle. What? I know I remember a monocle. I started asking everybody around me, and they all remembered a monocle. Everybody does. There are costumes that are based on the Monopoly Man. There are movies, Ace Ventura, where he looks at a guy and he calls him the Monopoly Man. He's got a monocle. So it's just this weirdest thing that all of a sudden the Monopoly Man doesn't have a monocle. Well, it was a pretty emotional journey when I started discovering a lot of these things. I said, what I want to do is I want to go out and find real people and get their reaction to this. I want to see what they remember, because the people that I'm asking, they remember it the way that I remember. If I remembered that there was a monocle on the Monopoly guy and everybody I asked said, no, there was never a monocle, well, I'd think I was crazy. I would think that there's something wrong with me. But the fact is, everybody's remembering the monocle. How can we all remember something that never existed? That's just crazy. It just doesn't make sense. I know there's a lot of people out there saying that we've traveled across the universe. Maybe so. There's other people saying that it's CERN, and they're monkeying around with some things and kind of opened up some dimensions. I don't know. I don't know any of that.
Have you ever woken up and felt like maybe none of this is even real. like today when I woke up, when I fell asleep, maybe what if I died? And when I died, I'm actually in a whole nother reality now. I'm not even in the previous reality I was in yesterday. Like, this is all different. It's very possible. Who the fuck knows? Or maybe I didn't even wake up, but I'm still dreaming right now. Crunch that on your brain for a little while. Fuck.
So it's been a year for me now, you know. Yeah. I was ranting and raving about the sun changing and, you know, a plethora of changes that had occurred, you know. And I was scared that I had died and that this was all a death DMT release in my brain, you know, going to the afterlife, you know, maybe a trick to get my mind to accept my death. And I was afraid, you know, and that didn't last. I also was extremely interested in the Mandela effect changes, each change and what it meant, and I expounded on a lot of theories, you know, and I think, you know, I don't know, it's been an interesting year, you know, a logo changes here and there, and movie clips and mass media and these things, and anatomy changes in the body, and continent changes, and all of these things, they're all fantastic and, you know, make us wonder about the reality that we live in. But at the same time, you know, you want to impress me, change the hearts of men. That will impress me, you know. Make a change to the world where children don't have to suffer, you know. I think if I'm going to be honest about it, you know, and this is coming from my perspective, and I hope that you guys can appreciate my perspective, okay? You know, I was born to a psychopath, okay? My father was a sadistic psychopath, okay? And my mother was a religious zealot and a narcissist. So that's my reality that I was born into. And, you know, I had a sister that died of malnutrition. I had a daughter that died on the operating table. I've lost friends at war, and, you know, I've been homeless. I've been shot at. You know, yeah, you know, my life here on this world, in this world, has not been an easy one, you know. And that's the truth, you know. It's made me a misanthrope, you know what that is? You know, a person who hates people. You know, I don't care for people at all. I avoid people. The most positive interaction I've had is with the Mandela effect community, you know, and I love you guys. And that's, to me, that's the most positive and beneficial thing that has come out of the Mandela effect for me, has been interacting with you guys, you know. Yeah, so, you know, coming from a background like that, you know, I think that this world is a cesspool of inequality and misery, you know. And for me, I've struggled my whole life, you know. It's been hard. And then, on top of that, one day I wake up and the sun is white, and logos have changed, but only they haven't changed, you know, and I'm one of a very few of small minority of people that can see it, and yeah, I'm not impressed. You know, yeah, I think that's the truth, you know. I have not liked this world, you know. People don't love, people don't have empathy for one another. Um, it's a world of greed and exploitation, and now, you know, we're special, right? We're chosen. We volunteered to come here. Well, I'd like to see that contract, you know. I'm not saying we didn't, but I don't remember that. Do you? If I've been struggling to stay in the light, you know, to stay on the straight and narrow, the cramped and narrow path, you know, and not get sucked into the vortex of darkness, of desperation and evil that's so easy to get caught up in, you know, because this world is run by entities that are evil. So yeah, you know, if this is God, then get on with it, God, and hurry it up, you know, because we're suffering here as people. If this is man, well, fuck you.
It never ceases to amaze me the amount of people, even with all the evidence of the Mandela effect, the amount of people who are clueless and they think people like us are crazy. It might be 10 to 1, 100 to 1 in a populated area. If you use the YouTube videos as a barometer and how many negative comments you get compared to positive comments, then anyway, I was thinking about forces that affect our universe. How does that affect us, what they do? Well, scientists talk about things in the universe that they can't explain. Okay, it just seems crazy. What's this coming from? Why is the universe not the same everywhere? Why in this area is something strange happening? Because the universe isn't consistent. Look at things in our universe. Why does any of this matter? Fuck if I know. It's just shit that I think about sometimes. I wish more of you guys that are awake and believe in the Mandela effect would make videos as I don't know. I think we need to expand our YouTube community. There's too many people that don't believe, think we're crazy, and I just think the more voices we have to the contrary on here would strengthen all of us. It doesn't really bother me on a personal level when I'm called crazy. It makes me think, though, on another level that these people are living in a world that is changing on them and they're not even aware of it, you know, and that maybe, you know, like I said, people who make videos and talk about what they think, their personal memories that's been screwed up by a reality that doesn't exist anymore, and a new one that does. It would, I don't know, maybe it'd wake them up. Take care.